All-star.
Y'all make this easy, bro. This is too easy. This is like literally the most fun that one can have on a Friday night, bro.
All-star rosters have officially been announced, starters and reserves. And of course, every year, it's not without a little controversy about people who have made it and people who didn't. But surprisingly to some this year, a couple of names that were left off that probably shouldn't have been, led by none other than Trae Young, who historically gets left off of a lot of all-star rosters. So when asked about it, here's what he had to say about it, and then the TNT crew shortly after that.
Found out pregame you weren't an all-star. What was your reaction at the time? What's your reaction now as you process it?
I mean, top 24 players, best players in the league are supposed to go there. And they're not getting the top 24 best players. They're missing one. So I was an all-star before tonight. I'm going to be an all-star the rest of my life. So regardless if I'm an all-star in the Bay.
And Trae Young continued with this on social, and it's no longer getting snubbed. It's getting trade at this point. Sorry to my fans. It'll change eventually. All right, talk soon. That would have been his fourth all-star selection. He's never made it in back-to-back years.
Whoa.
This looked like he would, but he did not.
Listen, Garland making the team ain't no snub. I mean, so listen, he can be. They lost 7 games in a row. So you lost 7 games in a row. Listen,
But the votes were in before they lost 7 games in a row.
They had lost 5 in a row before the votes were in. They said they had to have the votes in Monday. So they lost a bunch before then. Listen, man, Garland has played great this year. Shaq said it earlier, and we all said.
Well, does it have to be a Garland thing? It could be a Tyler Hero thing. Could come down to Tyler Hero.
But that's the thing. It could be a damn. That's the thing. Somebody always gets left off, but those other guys are deserving.
Yeah.
It ain't like they put somebody on there. Like Dame's having a really good year. Hero's having a great year. Garland's having a greater year. So I think
he wanted to say Bronny.
In trade is a little harsh, but somebody does not make it every year.
Well, if you look at what, from a numerical standpoint, and that's why I'm about to pass it to Shaq in a second, he's leading the league in assists. If a guy's leading the league in rebounds, it gets your antennas up. It's a bonus like you.
Yeah.
But he's also averaging over 20-something points a game. So statistically, he has the best stats. The reward from coaches it's a coach's vote. It comes from winning, because they're also in their mind, they say, do your points impact winning? Do your stats impact winning? And early on, Trae's stats were impacting winning. So it's not like he wasn't playing well and they weren't winning. And then with Johnson going down now is also another blow to them. But, it is an argument, but there is no argument for the guys who made it.
That's right.
There's nobody on there that could say that guy don't deserve it.
Joe just gave me a stat. He's shooting a career low 40%, and he's leading the NBA in turnovers. That matters. Joe just told me that in my ear. He says, hey, listen, look at these 2 stats right here.
I agree, but Chuck, I do remember when Magic Johnson led the league in assists, he actually led the league in turnovers too that one year. So you have the ball that much in your hand, your turnovers go up as well.
So, Jay, I want you to start us off on this. Did Trae get snubbed? And is there a problem with what is considered all-star criteria?
No, he did not. Yes, there is a problem.
Elaborate, please.
Listen, there's only a certain number of spots. Look, I'm not doing this, man. The All-Star game is a joke. The whole format is a joke. I'm not. Look, you're not about to have me talking about shit that don't even matter. It's a joke, bro. I'm just not gonna do it. I'm not. It's a joke.
Is Trae Young not having is Trae Young not a better player than Tyler Hero?
I think so.
Here's why it's a joke. Here's why it's a joke. I can give you almost an all-star list of players that should have been in the all-star without taking people off. You can go Trae Young, you can go Lamelo, you can go Kyrie, You can
Yeah,
go John
Kyrie.
Moran. Yeah. And you can keep going. You can keep going. Here's the thing. It don't even matter. We're at the point where the All-Star break and the Pro Bowl just needs to go away and just be something that used to happen, because players are not going to play in it for real. They're not going to play hard. It's okay just to say that it had a hell of a run and then it sucked at the end, pause, and now it's over.
I'm not ready to give up the tradition of what we grew up watching in NBA, man. I think it can be revamped. Oh, not revamped, but I think it
hold on, time out.
I'm not trying to give it up.
Show me how today's NBA looks like what you looked at growing up.
It don't, but that's why we're complaining as loud as we can. So one day that they will change it. You know, that's what I want. So
we already know the next change you're gonna get is 10 minutes quarters. Like
well,
it's going further away from what you want. Period.
I hope not. But look, here's the thing though. I answered the question, right? Yeah, Trey got snubbed, but I think
hold on.
What was more of a snub? Stop it, man. Who got snubbed the most was the guy who got the most votes out of everybody, which is Lamelo Ball. Lamelo Ball led an All-Star fan vote. He got the most All-Star fan votes, and then didn't even get picked by the coaches. So I'm like, man, that is nasty work. Now I know his team is next to last in the East, right above the Wizards. I get that, but if we're talking about winning, then there's no reason for Wemby to be there, because Charlotte's in the 11th seed, and I think San Antonio's in the 10th seed in the West. So if we go penalize LaMelo with the most fan votes, so we can get Wemby in for whatever reason, maybe you're trying to market him, but at the same time, like there's no player that's going to be more exciting in an All-Star game format than somebody like LaMelo Ball. Right, well, so they missed the opportunity with that.
You already seen the marketing for Wemby earlier this year, where they had the Paris games, and who else better to play in the Paris games than the Frenchman?
Yeah, of course.
Right, so it's not hard to see that the league is parlaying towards wanting Wemby to be the new face of the league, especially with like LeBron.
I don't think that's to use parlay, but it's okay. Keep going.
Why? I'm in a flow, man. I'm in a flow.
Sorry.
So especially with like LeBron, KD, and Curry on their way out, they're looking for the next generation. I just don't think you can overlook a LaMelo Ball and a Trae Young, especially when Trae Young is leading the league in assists at like 11.5 and still putting up, I think, 23 or 24 points a game, right? That's better than Tyler Hero, and I think Trae Young is a better player than Tyler Hero. I think Tyler Hero is not even the first or second option on his team.
But I think he is now though, with Butler not being around, and they're not actually utilizing Bam the way they usually utilize him. It's become Hero's team, and he's having a fascinating season if you really look at it. I just don't think it was more fascinating. I don't think it's been as good as Trae Young's for sure. And it definitely haven't been better than LaMelo's. But LaMelo's team just not winning.
Here's my problem: like people can get snubbed without like having to take somebody up. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to say, hey, take this guy off. It's just easier for me to say, hey, such and such was deserving of making the All-Star, whether he made it or not. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to duke you on nobody else's accomplishments.
Nah, you can. If somebody deserved to be there more than somebody that got picked, you can kind of say, yeah, Tyler Hero, this ain't your year, big dog. Yeah, like man, yeah, like it ain't not this year, big dog.
Just because you can do something.
Steph Curry, not this year, big dog. Nah, Steph, you're not performing like that this year, Steph. Let's be real.
And I think the Steph Curry pick was more of a nostalgia and like a loyalty pick.
Well, they playing in his home. They playing in San Francisco, right?
Got to have somebody there.
Yeah, so that makes sense.
Dom, I want to ask you a question. Do you think because I want to say Damian Lillard might have been a name that they were talking about. You think Damian Lillard deserved to be in over Trae Young?
No. I think Trae Young deserves to be there. I think he deserves an all-star spot this season for sure.
What he's doing is phenomenal, man. Like he and the way he's changing his game, man. He went from a guy that puts up a lot of shots, a lot of threes, to now being a guy. I'm gonna run the point guard for real, because you got some guys that can run with me. Jalen Johnson, I got some defense. He's leading the league in assists. So he got. I'm gonna change my game. I'm gonna score 23 a game instead of trying to score 28, 29, or 30 like Luka. I'm gonna score 23 and lead the league in assists. I like the way he kind of and he's getting no reward for it. I just think it's and then his team is playing decent enough to be somewhere in the hunt where they might be in the play-in by that time or maybe even the playoffs. LaMelo Ball or Trae Young over Dame and Tyler Hero for me.
I don't think they belong. I think that Damian Lillard, Tyler Hero should not be on the All-Star team. I don't understand. I think that there's a lot of political decisions that are happening just all throughout the NBA and not enough decisions based on meritocracy and who's actually good, who the fans want to see. Yeah. So it is really disappointing. I think that LaMelo and Trae Young wasn't. And you guys know I'm not a Trae Young fan. Okay, I don't think that he's phenomenal, and I don't think that what he's done this season is all that spectacular, but I do think that he's changed his game. He's playing more in the point guard role, to Mel's point. But every time I see someone like Trae Young shining, LaMelo Ball shining, to me, it highlights what's really, the lack of competition in the NBA. It highlights the real problems when we see guys like that thriving.
So that's on the east side of things, but on the west side, some notable names that are missing. Devin Booker and Kyrie Irving are not on the All-Star roster as well.
Yet James Harden is.
James Harden, Jalen Williams from the Thunder is on there as well, and then of course Victor Wembanyama. Thoughts about that? I mean, I think maybe Book might be getting penalized from the fact of being a co-star with Kevin Durant, but Devin Booker is still having a great all-star caliber season. I would put him over, Jalen Williams or James Harden for sure. And Kyrie Irving has been having to, do a lot with the in and out absence of Luka. How are these guys not getting in? Britne?
I'm not speaking because now one of y'all asses mentioned Tyrese Maxey. Like, what the heck? And I don't like the Sixers right now. Let's be for real. Let's get it together. But that kid's been playing his butt off right now, especially
off and on though, because he's been in and out of the lineup. How many games he played this year?
I love me some
games. We're not going to do that. We're not going to do that.
He's missed at least 20 games.
But I will say, because I did have something to say about the East. No disrespect, but Tyler Hero feels like a DEI hire.
Oh, hold on, he ain't got those no more.
Last minute DEI. Let's make sure we get this one kid in there. I'm just playing.
The whole NBA.
Trump said that plane crash was DEI.
Listen, the NBA is the National Affirmative Action League. Now we have Bronny. We have guys that look like Trae Young. We have they don't even have real bodies anymore. Like, you're just throwing people in there, We got Wemby.
No, I don't think Tyler Hero should have been in there at all. I just don't. Look, I do, and it could be because the team has a higher seed than all the other teams, like then LaMelo, Tyrese Maxey, Trae Young, and I'm assuming that's what it is. But I do think it should have been other players to get in, and it's something they're gonna have to fix. Same thing with the Western Conference.
But think about it also, guys. Like, the same people can't be picked every year. Like, when I think about it, Kyrie Irving, he's having like a quiet time in Dallas. Almost no matter what he does, like, he's just been like quiet, under the radar, Like, I'm just happy to see Kyrie happy and not being like,
Yeah, and he got his money. He got his contract. He got a shoe deal with Anta. He's playing ball. Ain't nobody messing with him in the media no more. So he good. But unfortunately, them all-stars, that top 75, and probably the Hall of Fame is going to elude him just based off reputation, man. So,
I mean, we also, though, like Dallas, I don't know. I just think that even you mentioned Devin Booker, Chris, like, Devin Booker doesn't necessarily deserve to be there. I'm not fighting for him to be there. Jalen
Me
Williams,
either.
I think, does deserve to be. Like, people, I want to see the top teams, the top seeded teams be recognized. Steph Curry, I mean, unfortunately, like, he's the face of the league.
But Dom, that's the issue we run into. That's the issue we run into, because if you try to use a standard of, okay, if your team is winning, we can accommodate one or two of guys off your team making all-star, right?
Right.
If your team is winning. However, winning is a criteria that only applies to some guys, because if you are Steph Curry and your team is not winning, we still go get you in there. If you're Wembanyama and you're not winning, we still go get you in there. So you can't even enforce that on Booker now. But in a perfect world, I could say, Booker, you can't make all-star. Like, you and Durant can't make all-star, and y'all sitting in the 11th seed in the West. Like, one of y'all.
That's what I'm saying. Everybody from the bad teams can't get picked, because right now all the guys that we're saying got snubbed are not doing well, like their team. You know what I'm saying? So everybody, like, I'm just saying, how many people are we going to take from bad teams? How many people?
I mean, that's a daggone good question. I mean, but would you want to leave Kevin Durant out? Do you think Kevin Durant's an all-star this year?
I
Absolutely.
I don't think that any of the old people are an all-star. I don't want any of them there.
So, all right, so let's do this, Dom. I say this. So let's give you the top 8 teams in the East, right? You got the Cavs at 1, right? They got 3 guys in. They got Mobley in, they got Mitchell in, they got Garland in. Their
That's
coach.
why I'm saying I don't have a problem, Mel. That's what I'm saying.
We're gonna go down it. Hold on, we're gonna go down it. Now, their coach was upset that they didn't get a 4th all-star in with Jared Allen. Jared Allen.
Yeah.
No, we can't make everybody happy. That's my point.
Okay, so 3 for Cleveland. Boston got 2, Tatum and Brown. The Knicks got 2, Brunson and Towns. The Bucks at number 4 got 2, Giannis and Dame. You okay? You okay with the top 4 so far, Don?
Yeah.
No? Who don't deserve 2?
I think Damian Lillard doesn't deserve to be there, and maybe Brunson or Towns. I can go with one of the Knicks not being there. They haven't done anything that required them to have 2 from their team, in my opinion.
Okay, so you okay with the top 2 teams getting multiple, but not 3 and 4? Okay. Indiana got 1, Siakam. Detroit at number 6 got 1, Cade Cunningham. The Heat at number 7 got Hero. And number 18 didn't get Banchero or Wagner, because they both missed time due to injury, so they didn't get one. But at number 9, there's Trae Young at number 9, and he gets snubbed.
Yeah, I think he should have made it. I would have X'd out Tyler Hero, Damian Lillard, potentially Brunson or Towns. I don't see why they had 2 all-star selections, and I love Brunson.
Okay.
Just to put into perspective, right? You said Atlanta's 9 right now in the East with a record of 22 and 26.
Right.
Trae Young did not make it.
Right.
You go to the West, and San Antonio is 12th with a record of 20 and 24, and Victor's in.
Right. And then the Suns are 24 and 22 at number 9. They got 1. The Mavs are 26 and 23. They got 0. And they're at number 8 at the number 8 seed. So Kyrie holding it down while Luka's hurt didn't get a nod from the coaches whatsoever.
Didn't mean anything.
OKC got 2.
But you get 2 from the Lakers.
You get 2 from the Lakers, who are 5th. You get James Harden in there for the Clippers at 6. You get you only get 1 from Houston, who's 2nd in the West.
I'm surprised Draymond Green isn't an all-star this year.
we don't need him to be the face of All-Star Weekend. That is a terrible face.
We'd get a podcast too.
For sure.
We're probably gonna get the podcast anyway since it's in San Francisco.
I think the Rockets should have got 2. They should have got Jalen Green and Sengun.
I can agree with that.
Yeah, I don't think the Lakers should have got 2.
No, not at all.
Well, the second one probably is not going to play anyway.
AD, yeah. So who? If AD don't play, who would y'all replace him with?
It's got to be Kyrie.
It's got to be Kyrie for sure. It's got to be, but they'll probably go with Jalen Green.
I'd rather replace. I don't think it's got to be Kyrie. I'd put
It-
Trae Young over Kyrie. I think
No,
they're-
the West. The West.
It's on the West.
Oh. Yeah.
It would probably be Jalen Green first alternate, and then probably Devin Booker second alternate. Honestly,
That I like that better than Kyrie. I would go with Devin Booker or what was the other one you just said, Chris?
Jalen Green
Yes.
from Houston.
I like 2 from Houston. They should have had 2.
Yeah.
Now, is John not an all-star because of injuries? Because he missed too much time?
He missed a lot of time.
Okay.
He missed a lot of time. But
Memphis
he,
got one with Jalen
John
Jackson.
Morant is in that Kyrie bucket, and he's
Yeah,
gonna
he
figure
is.
out how to get out of that. At least he still has his Nike contract.
yeah. I mean, Kobe got out of it. So, I mean, I think Ja can do it. I just don't think the people that Kyrie upset, they just got too much control over everything.
It's crazy because watching the show this morning that I'm not going to say, one of his biggest detractors said that he got snubbed and he should be. There's no reason he should not be an all-star.
Oh, it's people in hell that had ice water today.
Who? Stephen A. Smith said that.
Yes.
People in hell saw snowflakes.
Yeah. You.
I'll be damned.
You know that song, Megan Trainor. I know you lying because your lips are moving. Like you can't believe stuff that he might be, but behind closed doors lobbying for Kyrie not to make it, and then come on national TV and be like, I think he should do. I think he deserved to be a all-star. He's that type of dude. He's slimy. He's slimy. He loves money. I think he eat, but I just don't like the dude, man.
But real quick before I want to get y'all takes on something real quick. What do you think, if any, should be all-star criteria? What should get you in all-star weekend or the all-star game?
I go last because I love my criteria.
Dominique,
I love my criteria.
let me hear your criteria. We'll go Dom, Jay, Britne, and then Mel.
I just think it needs to be your individual stats and your team stats. I think that those 2 things should weigh heavily for the criteria. And when you have that criteria, it's really hard to make it unfair.
Jay?
First of all, get rid of the fan vote. And second of all, I already told y'all, first of all, get rid of the All-Star game. Like, there's no criteria. Get rid of it.
So, okay, so what would is it just a break? Everybody get a day off?
Everybody, yep.
Everybody get a week off.
To have, like, what are the fans supposed to have? So what do the fans get for being fans?
College basketball.
I think the fan vote is important though, because honestly, if the whole thing that Adam Silver is he's trying to cater it to where that the fans it's for the fans.
Guys,
right?
listen. As long as you have the fan vote, you're gonna have people who get snubbed because people who don't deserve is gonna make it off the fan vote.
Well, no,
Lamelo Ball led in fan vote.
He had the most fan votes and still didn't get it because the weight that the coaches vote weighs on the whole thing. The fan vote don't hold enough weight no more. They changed that like in 2019.
What is it? 25%?
Let me pull it up now while y'all still talking.
Britne, what about you?
Get rid of the fan vote. Get rid of the All-Star weekend.
There should be more players voted. The players know to me best who they go up against all the time. But I think I don't know.
Isn't that how the all NBA teams work? The players vote.
Don't shoot from the hip, Chris. Don't guess. Don't shoot from the hip.
I don't know if it's
or not like that. Like the 20 vote is not them, but like I think a percent of them.
It might be a percentage.
It says 50% fan vote, 25% media, 25% current player vote. So what they should be doing is giving everyone that has a vote a criteria, because you can't, there's no point of splitting the pie 50, 25, 25, and everyone has a different way of how they vote. Give them a criteria and a checklist, and they can check it off the box. I go over my criteria after Britne finished saying what she was saying.
The people who are chose to be all NBA, first team, second team, third team, or whatever, the next year that should be your all-stars. because that way it's off of merit as much as you can have it.
Yeah, if they hurt though.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's gonna be tough. If they hurt, then how do we who finds his replacement?
Right.
Or
they just
there's a list that they only give us first, second, and third. Somebody was gonna be fourth. Somebody didn't make third. You know what I'm saying? Right there. That's how you choose your all-star.
I ain't mad at that. I mean, that could work, but still, I mean, it still goes rely on how you voted for the first team. You know what I mean? Who voted for first team? Is that all media? You know what I mean? Or you know, I doubt no fans are involved in that, but I think that's all media. Is
right.
So
but
that's
I think you got to
media.
take media out. I think you got to make it. I think you got to make it former players, current players, like former players if you made Hall of Fame type status, and current players. That's it.
I don't think it should be current players. Look, Jay, there's no way the current player should be voting on who the all-star is. Like, you know, you get what I'm saying? Like, I'm competing against you. You go vote for me as a current player. It should be former players from the top. The top 75. It should be the top 75 voting on it.
Because I'm definitely voting for myself.
Yeah, it should be top 75. That's the only player. It should be former players, top 75 that have.
You know how the NFL get the players to vote, like the top 100, and
the top 100.
There's a criteria or something like you can't vote for yourself or something like whatever the criteria. The NFL got everything right.
But you know, I think NBA players be on some BS though.
No, that's a fact.
And I'm pretty sure votes can't be bought, especially if it's in a system like that.
Of course, votes can be bought,
especially if you fall under a certain umbrella of an agency that will not be named.
Of course, votes can be bought. And what's different about the NFL, Jay, is that if I'm a quarterback voting on, let's do top 100. Who you think the best pass rusher is? If I'm a quarterback, I'm like, hey man, the person that gave me the most trouble, I'm giving him my vote for number one best pass rusher. That's different. But if I'm a point guard, and I got to vote for another point guard that I played against, I'm not about to be for real honest, like, because that's my position too. It's gonna be a little different, you know, than it's so many positions in NFL is different. But here's my criteria, right? First of all, it has to be a criteria. Like like I said, it don't matter how you do it. Fan vote, media vote, coach vote. It don't matter how you do it. It has to be a criteria where everybody can be held accountable for who they voting for, and you know, and all that stuff. And it has to be transparent, because I need to know, not transparent to us, but transparent to somebody in the NBA where they can look at it and be like, nah, you didn't go based on our criteria, right? So you have to establish a criteria. And I think the criteria should be one, if you're going to be an all-star, you have to be the first person considered the number one option on that team. I don't even think Afran Sengun is the number one option. Jalen Green is, right? With Sacramento, when Sabonis got voted an all-star, De'Aaron Fox was the number one option. They voted Sabonis in based on double-doubles. So how is your number two getting in and your number one not getting in? So I'm considering the number one for that team. If that team's successful, I'm considering number one over the number two, regardless of how they orchestrate for you to get your stats and your double-doubles or your triple-doubles, right? So number ones get more consideration than number twos. If you're on a winning team, number one, number two in your conference, maybe even number three, I would consider your number two. Right? I would consider your number two. But out of the top three teams in the East and West, I'm not considering number twos at all. Right? I just want the number ones. And that way you can spread it out, and you can use that criteria and spread it out and get more real all-stars in. There's no way Trae Young and should not be in a freaking all-star game right now, but LeBron James should be, and Anthony Davis. There's no way. But that's my criteria on that.
Yeah, I think things have gotten skewered along the way when it comes to the all-star. And on top of the fact of how many things have changed. I mean, the format has changed this year. Is like, I mean, Jay almost has a point in saying scrapping All-Star Weekend, because it's becoming something so unrecognizable at this point. Because even for me, the youngest person on the panel, just 15 years ago, All-Star Weekend was still something good to watch. You know what I'm saying? You still look forward to the 3-point contest. You still look forward to the rookie sophomore challenge. You still look forward to the All-Star game because there was still some level of competition in it. Now you got this 4-team round, whatever kind of little format they got going on for. It's I don't know, man. It's just either it needs to be revamped and done completely properly, or just scrapped altogether. And like Jay said, that it becomes a week off for everybody, and then you go back to the second half of the season at this point.
All right, let's get into some of the NBA headlines, man. Couple of things is going on. Is the All-Star game is coming up, right? And they announced. First of all, let me say this. We'll just talk about the East real quick. I don't know how I feel about the Cleveland Cavaliers, even though they're the best team in the league record-wise. I don't know how I feel about them getting 3 All-Stars in, right? But I'm not that mad at it because my rule of thumb is that as far as All-Stars are concerned, the top 2 or 3 teams, I'm okay with them on both sides, East and West, the top 3 teams on East and West. I'm okay with 1 or 2 of those teams having multiple All-Stars. So when you got a team like Boston, Cleveland in the East, who else is top in the East? Let me see who's the top in the East. Boston, Cleveland. Let me look at the standings. NBA standings. And the Knicks. That's 1, 2, and 3. So I'm okay with the top 3 teams having multiple All-Stars. And with Cleveland, they got 3. I've seen that before. I've seen when Detroit had Rasheed, Ben Wallace, and Chauncey. Or did they might have had 4, to be honest with you. Because I don't know if Rip made it one year with them as well. So they might have had 4 All-Stars one time. I seen when the Hawks had a really great record, they had Kyle Korver, Millsap, Jeff Teague. That was 3. Or was it Kyle Korver, Jeff Teague, and Horford? Right, but they had 3. No. It was Joe Johnson, Kyle Korver, and Horford with the Hawks when they had a really good record. So I'm cool with it. If your team put all that work in and you have the best record, you know the rule is the coach with the best record is the coach on both sides. And I support multiple All-Stars from the top 3 teams. So Cleveland got 3, Boston got 2, the Knicks got 2. Bronson, Towns, well-deserved. Brown, Tatum, well-deserved. Cleveland, Mitchell, of course. I would go Garland, but they went also with Mobley as well. So that was 3. I'm not sure if all 3 of them should. Mitchell for sure. I think you should have had to choose between Mobley and Garland. So keep those names in mind, Mobley and Garland, because I got someone who I think should have made it over one of those guys, right? Then you get to the Bucks. Giannis, of course, for sure. Dame as well. That's questionable. So Dame, Garland, or Mobley, right? Questionable. Then you get to the Pacers. Halliburton's having a horrible year. But they chose someone. I don't know if they just needed a forward, but they chose Siakam. Another questionable All-Star, in my opinion, right? I don't know about Siakam. Then who else got picked? Cade Cunningham of Detroit and Tyler Hero of Miami, right? Miami is a number 5 seed. Oh, I'm sorry, number 6 seed. They got Tyler Hero. Questionable in my opinion, right? Very questionable in my opinion. And then you go down to the 8 seed. The Pistons playing very good basketball. They're in the number 8 seed, winning 23 games, and the Hawks is number 9 right behind them, winning 22 games. So they got Cade Cunningham in there. I would keep Cade there. First year All-Star, I would keep them there. But here's my thing. Here are the names I think they got snubbed. Trae Young and LaMelo Ball, right? And I'm trying to figure out now when you go all the way to the Hornets are the last team, next to last. They got a better record than the Wizards, and that's it. So I understand leaving LaMelo off, but this dude is averaging 29 points a game and like 10 assists. Right? Cut him some slack, man. His team's not performing well, but if you look at the West, you went all the way down there and grabbed Steph Curry with the number 11 best record in the West, and you put him on a freaking roster. Then you got Wembanyama at number 12, and you put him on the roster. So you can't tell me it's about record. Now, mind you, Steph got voted in as a starter, so we won't even talk about Steph. He got voted in as a starter. But did Wemby get voted in as a starter? He might have. Wemby might have got voted in as a starter. Let me see. No, because Jokic did. So Wemby got, you get what I'm saying? So Wemby is all the way down there as well, but you don't make that same you don't give that same liberty to LaMelo, right? So you can't say it's about winning because you picked Wemby, but you didn't pick LaMelo, you picked Tyler Hero over him. I don't agree with that, right? So Tyler Hero, Siakam, I would have took them out. I think Trae Young should have got that Hero spot, and maybe LaMelo should have got that Siakam spot. That's just my opinion. That's what I would have done different on the East, but it is what it is. Then you got the starter. Steph got voted in, so I'm not going to challenge that. Shea, Nikola, LeBron, KD. Okay, cool. Those the fan favorites. They got voted in. Then you got Anthony Edwards, Anthony Davis, James Harden, Jaren Jackson, Jalen Williams, Alfred Sengun, Victor Wembanyama. There's not a lot of wiggle room there. When I mentioned Wemby in regards to Melo not getting picked, it's not because I didn't want Wemby to be there. I think he deserves to be there. And from a business standpoint, you got to have him there. Sengun's been playing lights out. I think the only place you got wiggle room here is maybe with James Harden, but the way the Clippers have been playing, and he was been able to be the number one while Kawhi was out of there. I'm cool with James Harden being in here. Here's what I want to point out though. Jalen Brunson played for the Dallas Mavericks alongside of Luka. As good as Jalen Brunson was, because I seen how good he was in college, his rookie year, it took him a while to get adjusted, but once he finally started to break out, you could see that he was going to be a really good basketball player in the NBA. But you could also see that he wasn't able to showcase his full arsenal playing beside Luka, who's a player who's implemented a system around him to where he does everything. And the thing that I hate the most about players that do everything is because people on the outside looking in start to think their teammates can't do anything. And the only reason why that one player does everything is because they have to spoon feed these lesser players who can't do nothing. I heard Kenyon Martin and Lexi Brown say that on the Gills Arena podcast last week when talking about Jokic. Said that Murray, Michael Porter Jr., and Westbrook needed to be spoon-fed by Nikola. And that is the reason why a player like Jalen Brunson could not be an all-star. He couldn't even be a star playing with Luka. He had to leave Dallas to go to the New York Knicks to become an all-star, which is funny because Kyrie Irving left Brooklyn as an all-star, went to Dallas, and all of a sudden he's not an all-star anymore. Don't you think it's funny that Brunson leaves, become an all-star, Kyrie Irving comes and is not an all-star anymore? There's absolutely nothing Kyrie Irving can do. Luka even got hurt for almost a month, and Kyrie was keeping the team afloat and playing very good basketball, and he still can't get an all-star nod. Fan vote or coaches and peers vote. Can't get an all-star nod. And James Harden got it over him. Jalen Williams got it over him. Kyrie Irving would never see another all-star playing beside Luka. Same thing for Nikola Jokic. Everyone say Nikola Jokic don't have no help. He's never had an all-star. Don't you think it's an indictment? Like, great players make their co-star also look great. If you're in a system where it looks like your co-star needs you and you have to feed your co-star, that means you're doing too much in that system. And you're not going to win as much being like that. That's why these guys always get to the finals, win one or lose that finals and never get back. You'll probably never see Giannis or Luka or Nikola Jokic back in the finals. You can't get back like that, where you're doing everything. You're playing triple-double basketball, right? So as good as Aaron Gordon was one year with Denver, and he was almost an all-star, didn't make it. Michael Porter Jr., never going to be an all-star. Jamal Murray, probably never be an all-star. So what is it about Luka and Jokic and how they play the game where they can't get a guy to make all-star? Pippen made all-star with Jordan. Powell made all-star with Kobe. Jalen Williams made all-star with SGA. Karl Anthony Towns made all-star with Brunson. What is it about Nikola Jokic and Luka where no player can get all-star? If you're going to do everything, that's just not a good formula for winning. I just don't understand people who think that's cool. I'm just going to do anything and everything.